You're probably here because you've been doing the thing people do when they want something badly. You start collecting answers. Another video, another method, another secret, another promise that if you just listen long enough or repeat the right words for the right number of days, life finally taps you on the shoulder and says, "Okay, fine, here you go." And look, curiosity is human, hope is human, but there's a quiet pain under all that searching, and you can feel it if you're honest. The fear that you don't know enough, or that you're missing the one piece everyone else somehow found. So let's clear the fog right away. Manifestation is easy. Not easy like lazy, easy like breathing. You don't earn your next breath by being spiritual enough. You don't deserve oxygen because you journaled correctly. It just happens, and you've been manifesting your whole life in the same way, on autopilot. Which is why the question, how do I manifest, is kind of like asking, how do I breathe? You already do it. The real question is, why are you breathing stale air, and how do you start breathing clean air on purpose? Here's the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Manifestation is also an industry, a business, and businesses don't always thrive when you're fully free. Some thrive when you're half free, when you get just enough results to stay hopeful, but not enough stability to stop consuming. Like a treadmill with a really pretty screen in front of it. You're sweating, you're trying, you're doing the work, and still, you feel like you're chasing something that keeps moving. And the biggest trap in that world, or the biggest trap in most of life, is externalizing your power. Handing your own steering wheel to a method, a guru, a ritual, a special technique, as if the universe is impressed by props. So let's reset your definition, because definitions decide reality more than people think. Manifestation isn't bending reality. It isn't controlling matter. It isn't forcing the universe. Manifestation is shifting internally to such a degree that you're no longer emotionally dependent on seeing reality change. Think about it again, slowly. Not emotionally dependent, because the moment you need the outside to change so you can finally feel okay inside, you've already made the outside your God. And you were never meant to live like that, praying to circumstances like they're higher than you. Picture reality like frozen water. Ice looks solid, permanent, unmovable. But ice is just water slowed down. Same substance, different speed. Now imagine consciousness like steam, subtle, invisible, powerful enough to move engines. Matter is the same stuff, just condensed. Frozen imagination. So when you stare at your physical world like it's the final authority, you're basically bowing to ice and forgetting you're the heat. And once you remember you're the heat, once you're good with it and good without it, life starts moving in a way that feels almost unfair. Not because you finally found a secret, but because you stopped making your desire into a shrine. And here's the twist that makes desires chase you. The moment you stop acting like what you want is rare oxygen and start treating it like a normal part of your existence, the chase flips. Neediness repels, normalness attracts, desperation creates distance, inner steadiness collapses distance. You don't have to force the mirror to smile. You smile, and the mirror does what mirrors do. So if manifestation is internal shifting, not emotional dependence, then the next thing your mind wants to do is jump up and go, okay, but how do I get what I want? And again, fair. You're human. You're living a life. You've got stuff you want to fix, upgrade, heal, experience. No shame in that. But notice the trap hidden inside the question. It assumes you're not already doing it. It assumes you're waiting for permission. Like your desires are sitting behind a glass wall and you need the right key. Try this analogy and don't overthink it. Think of the universe like an online shop, not because life is a shopping mall, no, but because the logic is clean. Online shops have endless products. The universe has endless realities. The reality you're living right now, that's your current order. And the wild part is, you've been ordering this whole time. You just didn't realize you were the one clicking purchase. So the question isn't, how do I manifest? The question is, how do you change your order? Changing your order comes down to one thing, frequency. And frequency isn't some airy-fairy concept. It's basically your mental attitude, mind plus emotion, thoughts plus mood, belief plus feeling, your inner weather. And that inner weather becomes a signal, a product code, a label on the package. When a warehouse ships an item, it doesn't guess where it goes. It matches the code. Same with reality. Your beliefs, thoughts, attention, emotional conviction, and identity. They blend into a code. Reality responds to the code, not to your wishes. Now let's talk about those ingredients like a real person, not like a lecture. Beliefs, what you accept as true. Thoughts, what you repeat. Attention, what you feed. Emotional conviction, what you're confident in, what you're sure of. Identity, who you think you are, which quietly decides what you allow, what you tolerate, what you reach for. So if someone says they want a happy relationship, but deep down believes people always leave, that's like ordering love while typing the shipping address for disappointment. It's not punishment, it's congruence. Reality is brutally loyal to your inner agreement. Here's where people get stuck. They try to think about the desired reality instead of thinking from it. Big difference. Thinking about it keeps it at a distance. Thinking from it makes it present. And present doesn't mean you pretend. It means you adopt the inner posture of someone who already lives there. Fourth dimensional thinking, if you want a label. Not because you're escaping reality, but because your desired reality exists as a potential now. Like a seed exists inside the tree before you see fruit. Some call it the quantum field. Some call it the universal storehouse. Some call it the Akashic. Different words, same room. So what do you do with that? You ask a sharper question. If I already lived in the reality I want, what would be normal to me? What would I believe? What would I focus on? What would I stop feeding with my attention? What would I stop arguing for? What would I stop reacting to like it's life or death? And yes, you're going to catch yourself. You're going to have off days. You'll have moments where your old reality tries to pull you back like a familiar song. That's normal. You can't always control the first thought, but you can steer the second and the third and the next 10 after that. And slowly, without fireworks, you start doing the real work, taking what's been unconscious and making it conscious, then setting it back on autopilot again, only now it's aimed somewhere beautiful. Not because you wrestled the universe into submission, but because you finally stopped ordering from your old menu. Now we get to the part everyone secretly wants. Okay, what's the best technique? Affirmations, vision boards, scripting, visualization, tarot, astrology, some ritual at 3 a.m.? And look, some of those can be helpful, some can be fun, some can be meaningful, but here's the honest answer. Techniques are vehicles. A vehicle can't move without fuel. The fuel is emotional conviction. Not wishful thinking, not forced hype, conviction, confidence. The old Latin root of faith, fides, isn't just trust, it's certainty, a settled knowing. And when conviction is fused with emotion, it reaches your subconscious mind, which is basically the womb of your reality. That's why one person swears affirmations changed everything, and another person feels like a robot reading lines in a mirror. Same technique, different fuel. One person knows, the other is begging while pretending to declare. So the best technique isn't a technique, it's self-knowing. That quiet inner decision where you stop negotiating with life and start embodying what you want as if it's already yours to live, not in an arrogant way. More like the way you flip a light switch. You don't stand there whispering, "Please work." You flick it and walk away. That's the energy. Simple, clean, certain. And here's a hard truth that will set you free if you let it. Too much studying can become a drug. Analysis paralysis. You watch 10 videos and now they contradict each other. One says do affirmations, another says don't. One says detach, another says feel it deeply. Suddenly your mind is chewing itself, and instead of actually changing your thoughts, beliefs, attention, identity, emotional conviction, you do nothing. Not because you're lazy, because too many options short-circuit action. There's an old saying, staring at rice doesn't cook it. Reading about strawberries won't give you the taste. At some point you have to chew. So take a break from chasing new information, even from content you love, especially from content you love. Because sometimes learning is just insecurity wearing a smarter outfit. Sometimes you're not filling knowledge, you're trying to soothe the fear that you're not enough to create what you want. And the moment you see that clearly, something inside you softens. You stop running, you start practicing. Now here's the word that changes everything, and it's so simple it'll almost annoy you. Normal. What do you find normal? Whatever you find normal will find you. If struggle feels normal, you'll keep meeting struggle like an old friend. If disappointment feels normal, you'll keep being proved right. If money feels stressful and rare, guess what reality will mirror back? Meanwhile, if love feels normal, support feels normal, ease feels normal. Life starts cooperating in a way that looks like luck from the outside, but feels like alignment from the inside. And the biggest mistake people make with their desired reality? Pedestalizing it. Putting it on a throne so high, your subconscious can't call it home. You treat it like a sacred object, and then you wonder why it stays out of reach. Importance creates distance. Excess meaning turns into space. The more you need something, the more you accidentally declare you don't have it. So here's the practice that makes desires chase you. Downgrade the fantasy, not the desire itself. Don't lower what you want, but lower the importance. Take it for granted the way you take breathing for granted. Make it normal. People with the most often need it the least. People who need it the most often have the least. That's not a moral judgment, just a mirror. Needing shouts lack. Knowing whispers possession. One creates a gap, the other collapses the gap. And how long does manifestation take? As long as you wear the jacket. The moment you put on the inner state, you've manifested. The physical world may lag because time exists down here, but your shift is instant. When you embody the reality, you're no longer waiting for the mirror to smile first. You smile, and the mirror eventually catches up. So here's the invitation, and yes, it's a real one. Stop making your desire a god. Stop treating your future like it's holding your life hostage. Bring your power back home. Because the moment you hand your emotional stability to an outcome, you're basically saying, I'll be okay after life proves itself to me. And life doesn't play that game. Not for long. It mirrors your inner posture. So if your inner posture is waiting, needing, reaching, begging, the mirror reflects more waiting, more needing, more reaching. You don't need another trick. You need a shift so deep you can breathe again. If you want this to be the last manifestation guide you ever need, let it stop being content and start being practice. Close the tabs. Take a break from hunting new information like it's going to rescue you. Pick one simple approach you can actually live with. Affirmations, meditation, visualization, scripting, prayer, whatever feels natural, and stop treating it like a lottery ticket. Fuel it with conviction instead, that light switch energy. You don't flick a switch and stand there trembling, wondering if electricity believes in you today. You flick it and move on. Do the same with your inner world. Catch the first thought, steer the second. Pull your attention away from what doesn't match you. Let your identity start acting like the person who already lives there. Then make the real move, the one that flips the chase. Normalize what you want. Downgrade the importance, not the desire, the pedestal. Stop acting like the thing you want is rare oxygen. Take it for granted in the quiet way breathing is taken for granted. Let normal be rewritten from the inside out, because whatever you find normal will find you. And once your subconscious can finally call your desire familiar, once it feels like home instead of a faraway fantasy, life starts closing the gap without you forcing a thing. Desires don't chase desperate people. They chase the version of you that doesn't need them to be whole.